We are Bill and Lynne Themelaras, and this is our story.
Well, I have always wanted to adopt. I remember as a little girl, I thought about all the kids that I would adopt one day, and I was amazed that I would marry a man that wasn't quite as interested at the beginning to adopt. But it didn't stay that way. You know, God does amazing things, but I was working in a daycare center, and we actually had never even started the process of adoption, but a little girl came into the daycare center that was in need. And I just remember falling in love with her, and she was a child of a woman who was drug addicted. And I was the only person who could calm this baby down. So even though she was supposed to be in the nursery with all the babies, she typically was in the office with me and my son, who was a baby at the time. And so I just had a great time with her. And I would come home and I would tell Bill all about this little girl that was in my office. And to make a long story short, we got a phone call that the grandparent that was raising her was in the hospital and social services was coming to take her. And I just knew that I needed to call my husband and talk about this little girl because I couldn't see her not being in my life anymore. So I gave him a call and we talked about it. And
she brought her home.
I brought her.
So
like a week later, I brought her home.
We had emergency care for that weekend, permission for that. And we had 2 children of our own at the time. And I was always supportive of Lynne's heart for adoption, and I supported other families and such, but I just, I thought it was a great idea, but I didn't know if it was a God idea for us.
And you prayed for a lot of families who wanted to adopt and were trying to adopt.
But that weekend, I remember Naya, our oldest daughter, came and she said, Daddy, can she be my sister? And I thought, okay,
how do you tell a 5-year-old no?
What's God saying? And it was just within a matter of a couple days that the Lord had just totally changed my heart, and I knew that we needed to adopt her. And the rest is kind of history. She actually never left our house for one night, even from that moment on, which was amazing, and that's a miracle in itself.
And now he's wrapped around her little finger, and she is definitely Daddy's little girl.
She is. She's 15 years old now. Her and our son have basically been raised as twins their whole life because they're only 4 days apart. And so for the last 13 years or so, they've been raised as twins. So God can do amazing things, and our life has never been the same. Our family.
We can't imagine our life without her.
Absolutely. I mean, she's every bit of fabric of our DNA as blood DNA. And only God can do that. But we just encourage all families, regardless if your story is fostering or adoption, the answer to this crisis in the United States, at least, is for Christian families to adopt. And we completely believe that. We live it. And so we're excited about the future of adoption.
So that's our story, and it's time for you to write your story.
Yeah.